Class is now open. Let's talk about this paint first before I start getting into any paint or anything. Michelle, my friend, she had these two paint cans from years ago and she wanted me to match this. And Royal happens to be from Ace, so I wanted to, I thought I would go to Ace, and when I looked on here, it said Ace, and it gives different information on here. It gives the color and stuff, and I thought that was pretty good because see, with this semi-gloss, I knew that was for the kitchen here in the bathroom, and here was a stamp on there, and it said, see right there, it said Navajo White, and I looked at, and there was only half gallon left, and plus this stuff was oh, what year was it? 2013, I think I saw somewhere on this can here. So I know this paint is 10 years old. I ended up mixing this little bit up, but I'm probably not going to use this. And the reason why is I would look at this. Here's the tint base, 1868310. And now here's my new semi-gloss of the Royal. Let's just see if the tint base is the same. Here's the ultra white tint base, because all paint comes just white and then they mix up, and sometimes they change the tint base. And if they do that, you're not going to get like for like. In any case, this is 10 years old. Okay, 186A31. 186A31. See that right there? 186B410. That's the tint base. So I know this tint base in this paint is just slightly different from this. So there's a tip for it. If you want to match up paint, let's say, just because they match this up, Navajo White. See here, Navajo White, right there, and it's the Ace Navajo White. Okay, and just because they match it up exactly the same, if I put this paint and used it as touch-up in the kitchen area, it's not going to match 100% perfect because this tint base is slightly different than this tint base. Plus, this is 10-year-old paint, and this is brand new paint. Okay, so in any case, chances are I'm probably not going to use this amount of paint. Worst case scenario, if I got almost all done and let's say I only had this much left, and let's say I decided to paint that cabinet, that little room, the lockout room, the owner's closet I call that. Okay, let's say I decided to paint that, for instance, in there. Took all that stuff out, and let's say I didn't want to use the new semi-gloss paint. What do you think I could do? In a pinch, I could probably use this old paint, couldn't I? It's got about that much left. Chances are, at the end of this job, I'm probably going to end up throwing it away. And to throw it away, I would lift the lid up and let it dry out. I'll probably take it home, let it dry out for days on end, maybe a week or two, or longer, until it dried out. Or I could put kitty litter in it or something like that. Okay, now as for the flat paint, I'm not doing flat paint. I'm doing eggshell, and it's called eggshell. Eggshell is a color, and it's also a type of paint. This is a type of paint, eggshell, and the funny thing was, this wasn't Navajo White. This was called Only Yesterday. See right there, Only Yesterday. But when you look at the paint, this is the Only Yesterday, this is the Navajo White. It looks pretty much the same. So I thought, phooey on that. I'm not gonna get the new paint yesterday, only yesterday. I'm gonna make the eggshell paint on the walls out here in the bedroom and stuff. I'm gonna make that Navajo White too, and that's what I'm doing. It's all pretty much gonna be the same. If somebody walked in here and you said, "Hey, are there two colors of paint in here?" You say, "What? No, it all looks the same to me." And when I pulled this, when the paint store pulled this open, They pulled it open. Look at that. It's a metal can. It's all rusty around there. This stuff is almost dry. There's no way they could have mixed that up. Okay, and so down the road, I'm going to end up throwing it away. I'm going to open up the lid and let it dry out. I don't want to throw any of that away until it's all the way perfectly dry. Now, had they have, years ago, had they have wanted to save this, there's some things they could have done. They could have put the rest of this paint into a plastic container. You can get a plastic container at any hardware store with the lid, and you could transfer that into somewhere else. Or they could have put plastic. They could have taken a plastic and just put it over the layer of paint and what you're doing, and then store it. Because what you're doing is you're preventing any air that's in this paint can or any air that could possibly come through the paint can lid to dry out the paint. It's not going to dry out the paint if you got plastic over it, right? You just have to remember not to shake it back and forth when you get ready to use it, because you got the plastic bag in there. You're going to have to pull the plastic bag out. You're going to have to wipe your hands off and all that kind of stuff. But it's one way to do it. And I can also tell somebody banged on here and stuff, and somebody opened this with a screwdriver. They didn't use the proper little tool. Here's your proper little tool to open a paint can. They didn't use that. They used a screwdriver. And when they put it back down, eventually over time, what's going to happen is this can lid is going to get crooked. It's going to be out of whack. Okay? And when it seals, it's not going to seal properly, and it's going to let in a little bit of air. Plus, with metal cans, it starts rusting. That's the one thing I wish every paint store would do, is put these in plastic containers. Now at the Home Depot and Lowe's, you get plastic containers, the plastic lids, and that kind of stuff, and they don't have metal anymore. Well, apparently Ace didn't get the memo on that. They still have metal cans, metal can lids and stuff, and so it's like whatever. So in any case, that's how I determined how to match up the paint, because I took this to Ace, and because Ace had Royal, I thought, oh, I'll just get everything at Ace. If I didn't know what paint this was, I could have taken it to the Home Depot. They could have looked at the outside. They could have matched it up. There's ways to match things up, but I decided I'm going to get like for like. And they had it in their system and all that kind of stuff. And when you're at the paint store, or when I was at Ace, they gave me this little card. Here's something that's Ace Rewards card. It's not a credit card. You can sign up for this, and then you get membership perks if you go to Ace. And every once in a while, when you go in there, they say, hey, you got $5 or $10 credit that you can use for your purchase. You want to go ahead and do that? Yeah, sure. Had I known that. The thing is, you can't just do this at the checkout counter on the same day that you purchase all this. You have to do it with 24 hours previous. Had I have known that, I could have went in there 2 or 3 days earlier, signed up for their little rewards card, okay, before I purchased $150 worth of paint. Well, it was $150. That was for the paint and the smoke alarm. Smoke alarm was like $40. So. In any case, there's a tip for you for Ace and how to get your paint and that kind of stuff. Okay, and so talking about savings too. When you're at a paint store, they'll give you some paint sticks for free if you just ask. They'll also give you one of these for free if you ask. Now you can buy this at any hardware store for about 89 cents or $1.25 if you want. But if you just ask, they'll give you one, and that's the best way to open up a paint can. Don't use your screwdriver. Use your screwdriver and you bugger up the edge, and pretty soon it's hard to get it open and stuff. You don't have that problem as much if it's a plastic container with a plastic lid. Speaking of money savings, remember I was telling you how much this project would probably cost, maybe between $2,500 and $3,500, and I'm thinking it's probably going to be close to $3,500. That doesn't include installing the first alert smoke alarm. Now this smoke alarm And if you ask the painter, hey, can you replace that for me? They might look at you and say, I'm not doing that for you. You get the smoke alarm, and I can't be responsible for it, blah, blah, blah. And you get an electrician out here, guess what? Electrician's going to charge you for his time, for his service call, and all that kind of stuff. To drive out wherever it is, if it's an hour away or whatever. I mean, it could be $150 labor to install this one smoke alarm. And when he gets here, it'd probably take him 10 minutes to install it. And this smoke alarm costs $41.99, probably $43 with tax, or $44, whatever. And he'd probably charge you $60, $70 for the smoke alarm, $150 trip charge. And now you've saving $150 at least, plus $10, $15 on your smoke alarm if you just do it yourself. So I'll be showing you how to do that along the way too. That's part of my project here of installing and applying all the paint. Okay, and speaking of that, this is going to be one of my most important tools here on the project today. What do you suppose I'm going to use that for? I'm going to take the end off, and I'm going to use the broom handle for my paint extension pole. That's all I'm going to need. And I got my paint frames. I'll show you stuff like that later. And as for what I'm going to use, I'm only using my 3-step ladder, and I like using this thing. And I don't have a 6-foot ladder. Newsflash, I don't have a 6-foot ladder to my name. I used to, but I got an 8-foot ladder now. I wasn't going to cart an 8-foot ladder over here to do this whole project. And the reason why I like something like this, it's wide steps first off, and the top is pretty wide. Plus it's got this handle that comes up here. So when I get up there, it's easier for me to balance up there because I can use this to get up first off. When I'm here, it can help me with this, and when I'm here, my knees kind of helps me balance on it too, and I can get up this high. And I wasn't quite sure if this was going to be high enough to get to get in the kitchen, because the kitchen ceiling seems to be just a little bit taller than the hallways and stuff. Let me see if I can get up there. I'm pretty sure I can. I might have to stand on the counter or something, but I wasn't gonna bring my 8-foot ladder over here. See, I'm good. I'm good here. That's good. I was thinking about that, and I thought, worst case scenario, I could stand on the counter and reach up there. See, this is going to be a little tricky. I may have to step on the counter and then get up in there. I can do that. Okay. I use this for painting all the time in certain areas. Okay. I don't like using the 2-step ladder or the 3-step with the small with the small area here. See, this part here goes from here up. I've seen 2-step ladders with this just going like this, or a 3-step with it just being short. You know what I mean? And it doesn't give you as much safety factor. And the ones that have the small treads, you've seen them. I don't even use those because it's too easy for you to come up and down and twist your ankle or something, get off the step or whatever. Okay, so that's what I kind of use. This one's called Costco, C-O-S-C-O, but you don't have to get one exactly like that, but get something similar. Okay, that's going to be my friend, and my broom is going to be my friend in this project, right? Okay, so I'm about ready for my project, but I'm not getting into the paint just yet, because I've got to do all my prep work first, get everything pulled out and all that. Now let's talk one more thing. What, pray tell, would you do if somebody told you, hey, I want you to repaint this condo, I want it the same color as this, and by the way, I don't have any old paint cans for you to use to match up your paint, or see what color paint I use or anything like that. I have no idea. Somebody else threw it away. I told them to save it in my little closet here underneath the stairs, and they didn't leave the paint. Okay, They didn't leave the paint under here where the water heater is. You can't even see under there, can you? And I thought the paint was down in there. It's not, but I want you to match up the paint. What would you do? Well, you could take a paint card, go down to the local hardware store, and they'll give you a paint card. You know, if you look at it, yeah, it's kind of an off-white. You get some cards that are a paint deck or a small card that has all their off-whites that they have. That you can pick from, and you can bring that out here and you can hold it up there and kind of squint and look at it in the light, look at it in the dark and in the shadows and all that kind of stuff, and make a determination that way. Okay, what else could you do if you didn't have that? How would you match up this paint? Well, you know, at worst case scenario, if you had to, you could cut a hole. You could cut a hole in the closet, in the owner's closet down at the bottom, in the closet down here in the corner somewhere. You could cut a little hole and put a cut-in box there, put a telephone mud ring there and a blank plate, and you can take that little piece with you to the hardware store. You could do that, couldn't you? That's what I would do if I didn't have the paint color. Okay, something like that. All right, so there's a couple thoughts and ideas for you, and I think it's time for me to get busy. And here's a quick tip for you. I got my simple green out. I brought my container here, and you just put a little bit of that in there and fill the rest up with water. Okay, there's my simple green. I brought that with me for a couple different reasons. I'm gonna wipe down the top edge and the inside groove of where the paint is, the caulking is, along the edge in the kitchen, and I'll probably do the same thing right here in the bathroom along this edge, maybe the top edge, probably the top edge of the bathtub enclosure. After I pull the curtain rod down and stuff, I'll probably wipe the top of the light fixture, because I've decided to leave that light fixture alone. Okay, and then in here, see, I got everything ready for the closet, and I'm going to wipe down the top of this closet shelf because it's going to be all dusty, all dirty. You don't want to put paint just over the top of that. And if this was white baseboard, if I was going to be repainting the baseboard and all that kind of stuff, I would wipe the baseboard top edge off. In fact, I might take a look at that anyways, in case there's lots of dust. This is where the bedroom was, obviously, where the bed was pushed right up against there. I'll probably do a quick wipe on that. I might just wipe down the top edge of the baseboards, because I'm going to have to cut the new paint in down to the top edge of the baseboard. And then the wall heaters, I'll wipe the top edge of that. Probably wipe the top edge of the window trim. Wipe the top edge of the door trim, the door trim, the door trim, and that kind of thing. Okay, same thing out here. Top edge of the door trim, top edge of the door trim, top edge of the door trim. I'm going to take that cover off. I'll wipe the top edge of that. I'll wipe the top edge of the baseboards off. Do all that kind of stuff, because then when you get ready to get your paint down there and your cut-in brush down there, last thing you want is for your cut-in brush to start getting gummed up or having some hair on it, some lint on it, and every time you're trying to cut in your baseboard, you hit something right there, and your finished paint doesn't want to go on, and it sticks to your cut-in brush and all that. Just do yourself a favor. Spend a little bit of extra time wiping things down where you know you should, okay? And that's why I have my simple green here. I got my bucket here. I've got a sponge here. I've got some water in there. I can rinse that out, and see how I set up the bedroom? How's that look? Okay, I took all this stuff out of the closet and stacked here. These are the nightstands. I slid the nightstands back because I was going to put the doors. Initially, I was going to put the doors in the other room, but I didn't have it. I didn't have any room, so I put them in there, stood them up, put those things there, and see. So now I've got all this area open to get ready to paint. Here's all the Here's all the rest of the bedding stuff that was on the bed. Here's the bedding stuff that was inside the closet. My closet pole I just shoved right down in between there. Isn't that way better? Don't you think I'm about ready to do the painting after I wipe everything down, after I take the cover plates off? I've got to take that blank plate, or that plate off where the old smoke alarm used to be, because I'm going to be replacing with a new one. Okay, so I'm going to take that off and get all my stuff ready. That's my next things that I'm going to do. And then I can start taking down the rest of the stuff in here, and I'll show you a couple other little things that I check on prior to getting the paint out. Okay, I've still got some other things to do. Remember, I told you I'd slide the bed over here. Well, I've got the big mattress in there. Man, that was hard to do by myself. I've got the table there, the other stand that was there over here. I pulled this away. I didn't even disconnect the TV. I left the TV with all the cables. Let's get you in here. There's not much light in here. Oh, come on. Here we go. Okay. I just left all that stuff. And all I did was unplug that. I took a picture of that to make sure I remember, and then I just pulled this out far enough. That thing was heavy too, and I couldn't slide it over. I couldn't slide it over any further without disconnecting all these wires. I didn't want to do that. Plus the cable TV wires coming in here, and I just thought I'd leave that alone. Just pull that out of the way. I'll put my drop right through there, and I figured out how to take these down. I still gotta work on that. But see, I got all this all moved, all slid over there. I got a pathway in here, and I'm getting close, man. But I still got a few more things to do. Obviously, I got to take pictures down, the handles, handrails down, and all the stuff here in the bathroom. One step at a time. And is there a right or wrong place to start? No, not really. I just know I have to have all of this stuff taken care of before I get into my paint. So one step at a time. I could be working in there, but I thought, nah, just get the simple green out. And at least I'll do the, I wanted to do the shelf in case I forgot. Now, once I do the shelf, since I was talking, it gave me the idea to wipe down the baseboards, the top of the trim on the door casings and window casing, and so I'll wipe down all the other stuff in this room, take the cover plates off, and so that I can start moving along. And then I say, okay, I've got everything ready in there with my simple green. Okay, where else do I need my simple green, and all that kind of stuff, and just keep moving along one step at a time. That's how we're going to get the job done.